CEO of Warner Hospital. Spring allergies acting up? At Warner Hospital and Health Services, we offer fast treatment to help you breathe easier and feel better fast. Quality care right here, right now. Click on our icon on DeWittDailyNews.com.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. On Tuesday night, the Clinton YMCA approached the Clinton City Council to present its plans for a new facility. On the WHOW Morning Show Wednesday, City Administrator Tony Harris told the Heart Media Group that this is another exciting development in many things happening in Clinton.
It complements what we're trying to do downtown. I think that with them being at that location there off of Center Street is just going to add to what we're doing downtown and bring people in the area, in the downtown area. So it's exciting, and it, they've done a great job raising the money, and kudos to them. Rennie mentioned last night that he's looking at the city to provide some assistance. Now, what is that going to look like? I don't know. He brought up a couple different areas that the city could help. One being the TIF district, and again, that we've talked a lot about the TIF district. We're not for sure. We know about where the boundaries are going to go. He brought that up last night. I need to check the map and see if that area is included. If it's not, that's a good talking point. We might need to get that area included. The question is, how can that help?
Well, having worked in local government nearly his entire professional career, Harris has often reminded how slow things can work in government, but that doesn't change the excitement level of what is happening.
It's a little bit frustrating for me. I've worked in local government my entire life, but not in a role like I'm in now. And, I've always heard that the wheels turn slow in government. And this is where you were going. and that is a true statement. It really is.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm on here and talking about all these good things and what's coming, and yet we still haven't seen a shovel in the ground yet. But I promise the citizens it is coming.
Yeah.
We just had some. We had a land deal that was closed on a new business that might be coming to town. Again, we're in the very early stages of that and can't give a whole lot of details, but it's coming. And I'm hoping that this summer we're going to start really seeing some activity. Now it's just trying to, purchase the land and, those type of things.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a challenge in itself. And that's one reason why we're doing what we're doing. One thing on the agenda was annexation of land to the west. In that area where we want to see growth out there by Sunset Inn, and we're.
As for the city of Clinton financially supporting the YMCA, Harris says that will be something the city will have to analyze. With their commitments to finding a new city hall and police and fire station, the city is committing a lot of resources to those pursuits.
I think that's going to be a big topic of discussion. That's where Clint, our treasurer, is going to have to come in and tell us, what do the books look like? We during the budget negotiations, the mayor and I talked to Clint about, it's no secret, the new fire department, city hall, police department. The mayor is committed to getting those three things going. Mm-hmm. Especially the fire department. She mentioned last time we were in that, we've been kicking that can down the road for many, many years. So she's committed to that. With that commitment takes a lot of finances to make that happen. So, we might be limited there on what we can provide, but there's other things. One thing that was brought up was, the tapping into the water and sewer, those type of fees, assistance with that, assistance with some road work or sidewalk work. There's lots of ways that we can help. And Commissioner Wise mentioned that last night, just what I mentioned. He's the one that brought that up. So they're talking about, a one-way street, Johnson Street and Macon Street. That's something that we can do to help too. That's been discussed in the past. Last year that was discussed. So there's just going to have to be a lot of discussion going on about that, on the council level, just to see what the appetite is and how much assistance we can provide.
The YMCA has visions of hosting youth sports events at its new facility, noting the economic impacts to the community in that way. Harris says a YMCA that is close to downtown would be a huge win for the community.
That's great. It just goes along with what we're working on now with economic development. I mean, there's Kurt Holman's been in here talking about the hotel study, what you mentioned with bringing different folks in from out of town on, at the YMCA with the events going on. They may want to stay overnight. So we're working on that aspect of it. And, Kurt should be getting that study back anytime here in a couple of weeks, I believe. And we'll know what that looks like. But I mean, I think that's great. And again, I think that's going to help the downtown area. I'm hoping that, that with the YMCA being there and, a block off the square, that's going to promote some growth there too. We're tearing down the building there on the corner of Main and Monroe. What's going to happen there? Well, the first step was get those buildings down that were beyond repair and just see what happens with that. We have no plans for that right now. Right now we're concentrating on making sure we're not, with that demo anyway, making sure that we are not creating, problems for the neighboring buildings, like flood problems. So we're, in the middle. We just got approved last night also the waterproofing of the surrounding buildings. We want to make sure, because of that demo, that we're not creating a water problem there. So that's one thing that was approved.
YMCA leadership on Tuesday night indicated they would hope to see the final phase of funding for the first of the two-phase project complete, with dirt to be moved by the spring of 2027. The schoolhouse and nature center at Weldon Springs are great places for kids to learn about the environment, and soon they will have a new display to do so. Patty Kinder with the Weldon Springs Foundation explains that she is overhauling the nature center's tree display. With the help of a group of students, she says they plan to make the piece 3D.
Then in the nature center, we have a lot of, again, taxidermied animals. We have different displays. I'm working on changing the display of the trees. I'm going to make it more of a woody type of an area, and I want to do 3D. And I've actually gotten a little bit of help from the homeschooling group that I have out there.
Yeah, sure.
And the Tree Commission has given us some products that we're going to be using to bump up that display. Right now, it's all in my mind. I want it to come out from the wall, like have the leaves of a tree. The trunk of the tree will also kind of come out. My vision, I have a bee's nest that I want to hang from the ceiling, and that'll have to have help from the men that work there. Hang it from the ceiling as if it's coming out of the tree.
Right.
But then have that deciduous forest look where you have the top canopy, you have what's in the understory, you have everything in the middle, and just kind of bring out nature.
Kinder would like the project to be completed by the fall. She plans to add on to it even more in the future with the changes of seasons. She hopes the display can be an ever-evolving statement piece in the Nature Center for students to learn from.
I make sure to tell people I'm doing it, so it's going to get done.
Yeah.
I think by the end of the summer, I'd like it to be as complete as needed, so that when people come in next year, it's like, bam, right there. Might need a little bit more tweaking. And I do want it to add to it. Throughout the years. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Change it up a little bit. Maybe in the fall, put fall leaves. In the springtime, maybe take down the big canopy and make it all just plain and bare, so that you can kind of see the eagle's nest or the hawk's nest that's being built. Well, looking online, looking for different things, I found some really neat stuff, and I found that this here is something I can actually do. I wanted to do something different with the wildflowers. That's not going to happen in my little building. So the tree, I think, will.
Hundreds of guests visit the schoolhouse and the nature center at Weldon Springs each year. Learn more about the state park and the Weldon Springs Foundation by visiting WSFIL.org. Get news anytime from your computer or your mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Finding a local job in Central Illinois has never been easier. Don't waste time driving far or spending too much on gas. Visit IllinoisJobPost.com. It's your one-stop site to find local, full-time, and part-time job openings. Best of all, it's completely free for job seekers to access anytime, day or night. So if you're ready to land a job close to home, make IllinoisJobPost.com your first stop. That's IllinoisJobPost.com. Brought to you by your friends at the regional radio stations.
WHOW is Central Illinois' ag station, and that includes providing farmers information on how the commodity markets close each day and week. I'm Todd Gleason from Illinois Public Media, University of Illinois Extension, inviting you to hear the daily closing market report weekday afternoons at 5:06, and on Saturdays, tune in for Commodity Week with a review of the week's markets at 8:30 in the morning, all on WHOW AM, FM, and streamed online.
Get WHOW programming live or on demand right there on your desktop, tablet, iPhone, or smartphone when you want it 24 hours a day. Just go to DeWittDailyNews.com. If you want to listen to live WHOW programming, just click the Listen Live icon. And if you want to hear one of your favorite WHOW programs when you want to, just click on the Audio on Demand icon. WHOW programming is there when you want it. Just another service from the big 1520 AM and 92.3 FM WHOW.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. In a game heard on WHOW, Cody Bellinger hit an early homer and finished a triple shy of the cycle. Paul Goldschmidt homered for the third time in 4 games. And the surging New York Yankees used another big inning to beat the Chicago White Sox 10-5 on Wednesday night.
An early 4-run deficit put the White Sox in some peril Wednesday night in the Big Apple, but Colson Montgomery gave the Sox some hope with a 3-run blast in the third.
There's a swing and a fly ball out of the right. It's back there. It is gone. Well, they're right back in it.
Unfortunately, that's as close as the Sox would get because the dam broke in the 5th when Paul Goldschmidt, for the second straight night, homered to put the game out of reach, despite Colson's first career multi-homer game.
There's a swing and a fly ball, pretty well hit out into deep right center field. Bellinger back, and it's a home run. Colson with his second home run tonight.
Sox try to salvage a game in the series with a win in the Bronx Thursday night. I'm Jeff Meller, and I'll have your pregame show coverage starting at 5:30 on the ESPN 1000 Hard Rock Casino White Sox Network.
The Sox will look to avoid the series sweep tonight against the Yankees on WHOW. Pregame starts at 5:30 p.m. Fernando Tatis Jr. and Jackson Merrill each drove in 2 runs and finished with 3 hits as the San Diego Padres avoided a series sweep with a 6-1 win over the St. Louis Cardinals on Wednesday. Tatis, who also stole a base, is 17 for 48, or batting .354, with 4 doubles and a home run in his last 11 games. Merrill highlighted his 3-hit effort with a 2-run homer in the 9th inning, his 8th of the season. San Diego pounded out 14 hits, but went 4 for 14 with runners in scoring position and left 10 runners on base. In consecutive losses to St. Louis, the Padres had scored just 2 runs and managed 5 total hits. Griffin Canning, who is 1-5, worked 4 1/3 innings, allowing 4 hits and a run in relief. It was his 6th career relief appearance. He has made 8 starts this season. Bradley Rodriguez started the second bullpen game of the series for the Padres. He pitched the first inning. Kyle Leahy is 5-4 and pitched 6 innings in taking the loss as the Cardinals had their 6-game home winning streak halted. Merrill singled in the first inning, sending Samad Taylor to third. Manny Machado's sacrifice fly scored Taylor, giving the Padres a 1-0 lead. San Diego made it 2-0 in the fourth inning when Xander Bogaerts' one-out RBI single scored Machado, who led off the inning with a double. The Padres extended their lead to 3-0 in the fifth on an RBI double by Tatis. His run-scoring single in the ninth accounted for the final run. St. Louis cut San Diego's lead to 3-1 when Alec Burleson extended his hitting streak to 17 games with an RBI single in the fifth. After a day off on Thursday, the Padres send right-hander Randy Vasquez against the Rangers on Friday. Vasquez is 6-4 with a 3.63 ERA. Texas has yet to name a starter. Cardinals lefty Matthew Liberatore is 3-3 with a 4.71 ERA and takes on Royals lefty Noah Cameron, who is 3-4 with a 4.11 ERA in Kansas City on Thursday. Dansby Swanson and Pete Crow Armstrong homered as the Chicago Cubs beat the Colorado Rockies 8-6 on Wednesday night. Swanson launched a 2-run shot during the Cubs' 7-run second inning, and Crow Armstrong added his 15th of the season in the fourth to help Chicago take 2 of 3 games in the series. Colorado rookie Sterling Thompson hit his first 2 Major League home runs. Hunter Goodman and Kyle Carros also went deep for the Rockies. Javier Assad is 5-1 and won his second consecutive start, giving up 2 runs and 5 hits in 5 2/3 innings. Jacob Webb worked the ninth for his second save. Sean Sullivan is 0-1, making his second career start, and was tagged for 8 runs and 9 hits in 4 innings. Matt Shaw got the Cubs going in the second with a 2-run triple, and Carson Kelly followed with an RBI double to set the stage for Swanson's first home run since May 18th. Seiya Suzuki added a run-scoring double, and Alex Bregman hit a sacrifice fly that made it 7-0. Thompson had solo shots off Assad in the third and the fifth. Goodman hit a 2-run homer, his 21st this season, off Ethan Roberts in the eighth. Carros connected off Webb in the ninth. The Rockies lefty Kyle Freeland is 1-7 with a 7.98 ERA and is scheduled to face right-hander Bubba Chandler, who's 2-7 with a 4.76 ERA, when Pittsburgh comes to Denver to begin a 3-game series on Friday night. The Cubs have not announced a starter for Friday's afternoon series opener against the visiting Toronto. In scores from around the MLB yesterday, the New York Mets routed the Cincinnati Reds 9-1, while the Kansas City Royals beat the Washington Nationals 6-2. The Miami Marlins took down the Philadelphia Phillies 12-4, while the San Francisco Giants beat the Atlanta Braves 7-2. The Houston Astros took down the Detroit Tigers 4-2, while the LA Dodgers beat the Tampa Bay Rays 5-4. The Arizona Diamondbacks took down the Los Angeles Angels 8-1, while the Boston Red Sox were shut out by the Toronto Blue Jays 3-0. The San Francisco Giants beat the Atlanta Braves 7-5, while the Milwaukee Brewers beat the Cleveland Guardians 9-4. The Baltimore Orioles beat the Seattle Mariners 5-3, and the Pittsburgh Pirates routed the Athletics 12-4. Get highlights of your local high school program by finding IL Sports Wire on your preferred social media platforms, and get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Now you can listen to WHOW on any Amazon Alexa-enabled device. There are 3 easy steps. Step 1.
Download the free Alexa app by going to the App Store on your mobile device.
Step 2. Enable our skill by going to the menu, select Skills, then find WHOW, open the skill.
Step 3. Activate the skill by saying, Alexa, play WHOW radio.
That's all there is to it.
And to stop the WHOW stream, just say, Alexa, stop.
WHOW, now on the Amazon Alexa app.
Here's Matt Hart, owner of the Hart Media Group in Clinton.
It's been great. You and Ben and the entire team are doing a great job. And we're just continuing on serving the local community, right? This is what this is all about. We're here to serve our local community. We're here to tell the local stories. We're here to cover the news. So nothing in that regard is changing. Our goal is connecting people. And that's our tagline at Hart Media Group. It's connecting people.
Hart purchased the Miller Media Group in August of 2025 and looks forward to serving the community for years to come.
Hey, it's Shane from Highway 51 Exchange, your mower and equipment service pros just south of Clinton. Click our banner ad on DeWittDailyNews.com or give us a call to schedule your free pickup and delivery today. Highway 51 Exchange.
Longview Community Bank is now open in Clinton, investing in rural Illinois. I'm Vice President Nate Sams. Stop by for a visit or to find out how we provide real local banking. Click our banner ad at the top of the local news page on DeWittDailyNews.com.
Gather your family and friends for the 2026 Piatt County Fair in Cerro Gordo this Thursday through Sunday, June 18th through 21st. Thursday, the Carnival, Beer Barn, and vendors open at 5, with Rockin' Randy performing at 6. Friday includes the Dairy Show at 9, Stone Cold Cowboys at 8, and fireworks at dusk, sponsored by the Cerro Gordo Village Board and the Cerro Gordo Legion, SAL, and Auxiliary. Saturday morning, the Swine Show begins at 9. At 3, the Scoville Mobile Zoo opens, followed by the Tot Rod Pull at 4 and the ITPA Pull at 6. Then it's Andy Reuter live on stage at 8 p.m. Sunday morning features the Beef Cattle Show at 9, followed by the Andy Bolson Memorial Outlaw Hookers Antique Tractor Pull at 11. Made possible with the support of the Bolson and Castile families and many others. Don't miss the fun this weekend at the Piatt County Fair in Cerro Gordo. See you at the fair.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. The Strait of Hormuz reopens, all military action ends, and no nukes for Iran. Those are among the points in a memorandum of understanding. It's been signed by the U.S. and the Iranian presidents. Secretary of War Hegseth has a bone to pick with NATO. He's not shy about letting the alliance know where he stands. He says that Europe must take more responsibility for defending itself, and he is dismayed the allies failed to help the U.S. during the Iran conflict. The remnants of Tropical Storm Arthur bringing rain to the southeast Texas coast, with Mississippi and Alabama also seeing some flooding from the storm. It is the first named storm of this Atlantic hurricane season. On Wall Street, Dow futures 187 points higher. The Nasdaq futures are up 448 points. S&P futures better by 56. More details at srnnews.com.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you got to call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-555-2085, 800-555-2085, or biglou.com.
From the Hart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local news update. A local financial advisor says scammers are putting new spins on old tricks to get you to hand over your money. Connie Miller with the DeWitt Savings Bank indicates she has recently been hearing about scams related to computers and supposed tech support representatives telling you that there are viruses on your PC that are not really there.
Oh man, it's been a crazy spring summer. I guess it's always crazy. It's the same. It's just twisted. So we still have people calling people and saying crazy things like your computer's infected, you have porn on your computer, and you're going to be found out. And a lot of people still getting phishing malware on their computers as well. And then you get the Microsoft person who calls you or gets on your computer and, says you have to pay all this money because you have this stuff on your computer. We've had several of those lately, and they tell you crazy things like they're part of the government, they're part of the IRS, the FTC, and they're going to help you.
This scam relies on people moving money from one account into another that the scammer created for you. Miller says this should be an immediate red flag, as creating a bank account for another person is illegal.
And what we've seen is you need to move money from your bank accounts into another bank account that we set up for you, which is not legit. No, you can't do that. So that should be a red flag.
Yep.
Anybody reaching out to you is a red flag. If your computer's not working and someone figures it out, and says, hey, I can help you, this is Microsoft or whoever, that no one's going to reach out to you. So, and if you haven't put child pornography on your computer, then it's not legit. And they're not showing you things on your computer. So those are things to remember when you're having issues like this, and report it immediately to someone you trust, to the police. Report it immediately. People get scared. They start sending money and paying for things that are not necessary. So don't stop. Think about it. Does this make sense? And they don't want you to tell your family members. They don't want you to tell the people at the bank.
Miller says if you willingly hand over your money to a fraudster, there is little that can be done from the bank's perspective to get it back. The willing nature of the transaction means it is not covered by insurance. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times today, with daytime highs approaching 73. Northwesterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows level off around 56. Tonight, clear skies. High temperatures reach up to 77. Tomorrow, mainly clear. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Right now, it's 66 degrees.
It's the quiet moments you count on. A call that connects instantly, a show that never buffers, a home that just works. That's the difference with Connexus Fiber Internet. We built a buried fiber network designed for consistency, earning us the title of top-rated fiber internet provider in Illinois. With plans starting as low as $25 a month and 3-year price lock options, it's reliability you can feel without the unpredictability. Because with Connexus, connection means everything. Experience better at Connexus.com. Nothing Connexus like Connexus.
The WHOW Morning Show is now video streamed live on the WHOW WEZC DeWittDailyNews.com Facebook page and on the new WHOW TV YouTube channel. Watch Morning Show host Seth Lawrence interview guests live, as well as watch archived video podcasts of any interview you missed. Whether on Facebook or YouTube, we're providing 2 more ways that Central Illinois' local news station, WHOW, delivers compelling content for you.
You're listening to a best of segment of the WHOW Morning Show, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, this is a best of the WHOW Morning Show. Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio today is Mr. Adam Ibbotson, Superintendent of Maroa Forsyth Schools. Mr. Ibbotson, always good to see you, sir. How's summer treating you so far?
Really good, and kind of wrapping up things from 25-26 and rapidly making plans for 26-27, which sounds really crazy to think that we're at 26-27.
It'll be here before we know it.
Yeah, for sure.
How long now? I know we missed May. How long have your kids been out here?
We were done May 22nd.
Okay, so
that
we're
was the
coming up
last
on a
day.
month.
Yep, out May 22nd, and then we'll be back in with teachers on the 14th of August.
Okay.
Kids won't come back until the 18th and 19th will be our time to come back in August.
All right. So, like I said, we'll be here before we know it.
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
the spring was really a mad dash to the finish. You had
Yeah.
a lot of success in your sports
Yeah.
programs in the spring.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight a couple of things specifically, just academically and then co-curricular and extracurricular wise. I wanted to say congratulations to Coach Kidd and our girls track team at the high school level. They were able to capture the first ever girls team state championship in school history. There's been been other placers and pieces, but never a state championship team. Really awesome day at O'Brien Field at Eastern. We recognized them at the June board meeting on Tuesday night. Exciting to see the growth of that program over time. And there's a lot of kids coming back. Just wanted to highlight Claire Eigner as a senior. She ended up being the state champion in the mile and the 2 mile. She's going to run to Michigan State next year.
Oh, wow.
And then individual state championship, Zion Young won the shot put as the state champion and had the farthest throw in the shot put of all 3 classes. And she's just a junior and going to be a senior. So, but as Coach Kidd highlighted at the board meeting, every point mattered because we ended up actually tying with Effingham St. Anthony and sharing the championship.
Oh, really?
So every point that we got along the way really mattered from every relay or every place that we got. So just an awesome thing to have those girls be ushered into town, celebrate with an escort, celebrate a state championship trophy. Just a really awesome experience and really proud of our track program and everyone involved. So really cool to celebrate that.
Yeah, very good. So congratulations to them. And,
Yeah.
Like you said, coming back next year, you'll have some really strong athletes to build on this. So, and I've talked to track coaches. One thing I've learned over the years is, track coaches really have to, it's a battle up and down the roster of events. Not a battle, but it's one of those things you've got to keep everybody motivated because all those points matter at the end of a meet.
It does,
and so kind of prove that true in your situation there. So congratulations to those kids. I know the baseball team, another regional championship.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool too.
Yeah, so exciting. Really hot that day in Clinton when we played at the regional championship, but excited for the boys, winning the regional and then lost to a really tough Tolono team in the sectional final. Coach Azzarelli, this is his first year as baseball coach. He's resigning that position from our spot. So he's going to take a position at Lord's in Decatur.
Okay.
And be working there, teaching at that junior high. So we wish him the best. Served our district for a long time as a middle school baseball coach, high school assistant coach, and then we've got some active open positions that we'll talk about later on. But congratulations to our kids. Congratulations to our coaching staff. Baseball is a big deal at Maroa Forsyth. There's a lot of time and effort that gets poured into it and a lot of success with Coach Martin previously. And then into this year kind of carried on that tradition. So that was exciting to see.
Sure. Very good. Well, look forward to what's next for the baseball program as Coach Azzarelli kind of moves on. So good for him. Very good. Good guy. He was fun to talk to in the spring and all those things. Very nice. Mr. Ibbotson, as we continue on here for this morning, I know that transitions us to a busy summer season at Maroa Forsyth. What's going on this summer?
So it's really thinking about wrapping up the year. We move in like right now is our FFA state convention. So all of our kiddos are getting recognized there and wrapping up the year, but they're setting the course for next year. That's a really neat thing to think about with some of our state award winners with Emery Bunzelmeyer, Alex Amidas, and Cooper Wise, all were recognized there. And our chapter was recognized with several awards. So really cool. They're making plans for next year and we're doing the same thing. So online registration kicks off on July 1st. On Skyward, that portal will be open. Our offices are open pretty well into next week, and then they will have limited availability moving forward as we get reset for the summer. They're in the process of doing state reporting and all the things that we have to do to get ready for the next school year.
Okay.
So online registration are those couple weeks in July. New student registration will be on July 22nd from 12 to 5. So that's an in-person only. If you're a new student or you're coming in as a resident, you've got to bring your documentation for your residency pieces and all those qualifying documents to register for school. So that's happening on the 22nd, moving into next year, because we will start school with our teachers on the 14th on that Friday. It'll be here pretty quick.
Yeah. So now online registration, is that new for Maroa
We've
Forsyth?
been doing that for a long time.
Okay.
Through the Skyward Family Access Portal. Families will see that to be open on the first time. That's where they'll see their schedules. If you're a middle schooler or a high schooler, you get to see classroom teachers and all that type of stuff after July 1 and see what that stuff kind of looks like. And then you'll be able to access all that stuff in the registration process and see that starting on July 1st.
All right, very good. So registration, I can't believe it. We're a couple of weeks
Yeah.
out from that and already thinking about
Yeah.
the next school year. You mentioned the next school year, Mr. Ibbotson. Before we get to that, I want to ask about, I know folks, if they're driving by the outdoor sports complex, they're
Yeah.
going to see a little different view. What's going on there?
Yeah, so when you drive up and down 51, you'll see that our press box is officially down. So that's been taken off its pedestal along the way, all the supports there, and they're doing additional concrete work and footing and securing that area right now and getting it prepped with electricity, technology needs, and getting that ready. Our goal, we're hoping that, we need to have that press box done by August 1, just because of the football calendar has been moved up with the new IHSA requirements to get ready for it. So we're hoping to have that done and ready to go. It's going to look really awesome. It's been a long time coming. It's been on our project list for a while. So we had a big crane. A lot of people stopped by and watched the crane kind of take off the old press box. And we'll have the new one placed here, hopefully here in July, and be able to have some signage on it, take a look at it, and really update the amenities there and just make it a really quality place.
Yeah, what are you going to put in there? You got, rooms for everybody.
Yeah,
you got a kitchen to make,
no
everybody
kitchen.
happy, make
Yeah.
everybody comfortable.
No kitchen.
No kitchen. Oh, okay.
But separate, it's not going to necessarily be deeper. It's going to be a little wider along the way to accommodate some other rooms.
Yeah.
It'll look similar to Clinton's press box that they had, similar in some regards. St. T's, if you've been by their spot, it will look similar to it, but it'll have 5 different rooms to look at it, with rooms in the middle and then rooms on the outside for opposing coaches. Still have a spot on the top for people to be at. Really just supporting the game day pieces and what we do, even for track meets with like FAT timing and what we have to do for the scoreboard and all the electronic needs that we have to house everything. It's different than it was 20 years ago.
That it is.
There's a lot of things to be up there to be able to house. So yeah, we're looking forward to that coming up. And we've got other work happening in and around the high school. We just did our 20-year health, life, safety audit. So lots of HVAC, valves get old, compressors get old, machinery fails. So we're working through some of those pieces. We're also, if you walk into the entrance of the high school next year, that whole atrium area, when you first walk in, it's had some issues with some of the paper peeling off of it as it's set over time and exposed to the sun and the elements over time. So we're redoing it. We have other door projects that we're working on, painting that we're working on, and just kind of updating and staying on a regular schedule to keep that up with maintenance and the looks of everything.
Gotcha. Nothing will impact like summer activities at the schools or anything like that?
Our staff does a great job. Mr. Garner, Keith Garner is our building and grounds director. He works with our middle school and high school staff and athletic director, Mr. Appleby. Everything's pretty well sectioned off. We had basketball shootouts a couple weeks ago where we had people in our gyms, and everything we work to coordinate together as a group to make sure all those things happen and we still get the work done that we need to.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, and summer activities for kids, football workouts, basketball practices, the camps, all the things already underway, right?
It's all happening. We've had middle school girls basketball camps happening. We've had high school basketball shootouts going on. We've had things with, our football workouts have been happening. So we're in full go, and kids are going, and they're doing their own things in the weekends and travel baseball, softball, and basketball and all that stuff. But yeah, we're doing a lot of our own stuff, and kids are active and involved.
And I tell you, I had Dr. Taylor on the show a few weeks ago, and she said, she made a good point. She said, while a lot of people, and maybe this was the way it was many years ago, but, summertime, it's almost like school didn't let out. It's just, there's kids, there's coaches, their staff, people in and out all the time. The hallways never seem to get quiet sometimes.
And I would echo that same fact. I just think summer used to be just complete shutdown and nobody around. I think as involved as kids are, as involved as staff are, I think like buildings wise, air conditioning used to be not a thing that everybody had.
Right. Yeah, you're not wrong.
So
yeah.
now you're in a spot where you're in a climate control place. You can get some work done, and our staff are in and out whenever they need to be. But yeah, the building is never really empty. People are there all the time.
About 10, 15 years ago, air conditioning started to become, which is interesting that it was just 10 or 15 years ago that air conditioning started to become kind of a mainstay in school buildings. But very good. Well, on that note, Mr. Ibbotson, I look at the clock. Let's go ahead and break, and maybe we'll come back and talk some legislative stuff. Actually, you know what? Let's do staffing. You want to do staffing before we go to break?
Sure.
Yeah. What do you got going on there?
We do have some open positions. I mentioned our grade school PE position. We've had a couple of classroom teacher positions that have come open that we're actively interviewing for and working through. Some of those positions have closed. We have a couple other positions that close on the 15th. So I would encourage anyone, you can find those positions on the IASA Job Bank. And you can also find them on our Facebook page, and you can also find them on our school website underneath employment opportunities. So I would encourage anyone that's looking for a position and want to be a part of our team to check those things out for staffing needs.
Now, what about bus drivers? How's bus drivers going for you?
We've shifted some of our routes around, and at this point, we are fully staffed with bus drivers.
Great.
So all of our routes that we're planning on for next year, we're fully staffed. We could always use substitute bus drivers. That's another challenge for us. If drivers have to take a field trip or have days that they need to be off for whatever reason, we would always use substitute bus drivers along the way. But we are fully staffed on our routes right now. And preparing to make the move for next year.
Now, a lot of that has to do with because you if I remember right, condensed routes, changed some start times, finish times.
Yep.
You adjusted that, right?
Yeah, we did. So we're our start time at the high school next year. First hour will be at 7:55 instead of 8:05. Our grade school will start really at 8:30 is when students will get started there.
Wow.
So a little bit earlier dismissal for the high school, middle school. They'll be out of school at 2:45 next year, and then our grade school kids will be out at 3:20. So we've kind of stacked. We've talked several times on this program about consolidating, essentially having pool stops, neighborhood stops, and consolidating some of that to try to help with transportation costs and trying to get the most bang for our buck in terms of that.
Yeah, for sure. And again, when you struggle to find bus drivers, obviously that factors in as well. Very nice. Anything else on staffing, Mr. Ibbotson, we didn't touch on, sir?
No, those are just some positions we have open at the grade school. We have some coaching positions open as well, but I encourage everyone to look at our school website or the IESA Job Bank, and you can find those positions.
What are you doing with baseball? You mentioned Coach Azzarelli moving on.
Yeah, we're still in the process of kind of exploring that. Season just got over with, and we had posted for that grade school PE job, and we'll take a look at that with our athletic department and our administrative staff. And I know we'll have a lot of interest in that position. It's a quality program with a lot of tradition and history, and we'll navigate and find a quality coach.
No question. Very good. Well, again, how do folks learn about those open positions, learn about all things Maroa Forsyth Schools?
mfschools.net on our Facebook page is a great place, and then finding us on our website has lots of information there as well. Facebook and the website.
Very good. Mr. Adam Ibbotson, Superintendent of Maroa Forsyth Schools, is my guest in studio today. More to come with Mr. Ibbotson on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW. Let's check the opening numbers now at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Thursday. I'm Jim Taylor on the RFD Radio Network. We start the day in the red with corn, beans, and Chicago wheat. July corn opening 416 3/4, down 4 1/4. September corn down 425 1/2, and December corn 444 3/4, down 4. July beans down 8, 11.24. August beans 11.29 1/4, down 7 1/2, and November beans opening 11.42 1/2, down 6 1/2. July Chicago wheat 608 3/4, down 4. July KC wheat 649 1/2, down 3. July bean meal down 210, 302.60. July bean oil down $1.63, 69.91. Energy market August Brent crude oil 78.10, down to $1.45. Looking at the opening numbers on this Thursday morning, I'm Jim Taylor, and this is the RFD Radio Network.
This is it.
Looking for a new Silverado? This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. We have a good selection of new Silverado inventory. We have Silverados in 1500s, 2500s, and 3500s with several trim levels, custom, LT, RST, LTZ, and yes, even high countries. All our inventory is priced for our summer savings season. Baum Chevrolet Buick. Together, let's drive. BaumChevroletBuick.com right from the start.
Here's Matt Hart, owner of the Hart Media Group in Clinton, talking about continuing to serve the community through new ownership.
Things came together and we reached an agreement to purchase. And as you mentioned, we closed August the 1st. So as August the 1st, Miller Media Group is now Hart Media Group. And we're continuing to serve the people of Clinton and DeWitt County and Monticello and Bloomington and Decatur and everywhere, because we'll just keep connecting people as we've been doing.
The Hart Media Group looks forward to continuing to serve the community for years to come. You're listening to a best of segment of the WHOW Morning Show, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, this is a best of the WHOW Morning Show.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, my guest in studio this morning, Mr. Adam Ibbotson, Superintendent of Maroa Forsyth Schools. Mr. Ibbotson, as we chat here for this morning, I know eyes always on Springfield to see what's coming down next. Anything out of Springfield this legislative cycle catch your eye?
So I think the funding mechanisms and those things, those kind of played out how I anticipated and how most people prognosticated they would. Evidence-based funding being committed to, those mandated categoricals, essentially the things that we have to do by law but need to get reimbursed for. We saw that not fully funded with some of that proration of that we've talked a lot about. That was pretty expected. Governor Pritzker had made it a priority to think about a cell phone ban. He had talked about that as a part of his State of the State address, had sponsors from that bill, and that bill passed both legislators by a wide margin.
Oh, wow.
That usually doesn't happen in Springfield. So those two things were signed. It hasn't been signed yet, but passed both chambers by a wide margin. I don't think it was unanimous, but maybe it was pretty darn close to it. So I think that cell phone ban, electronic device ban, I think that legislator, people are starting to put out some information about it and what that law really says, because the details really matter in this. So think about technology in school districts. So currently at Maroa Forsyth, cell phones are not out. They're put away at our grade school. They're in a kid's backpack. They're in a cubby. They're not to be accessed. And that's from K through 5 if you've got a smart device. So when you get to middle school and high school, those devices are essentially out for kids during passing periods. They're out during lunch periods. But if they're in a classroom, they're not supposed to be out unless the teacher gives permission for it. Many of our teachers have cell phone caddies. Essentially, it's a parking place for your phone to go during instructional time. Some teachers have that, some do not. As I have read part of the bill and I have looked at some of the legislation, I'm anticipating that Governor Pritzker will sign it. It will come into law. I think it's going to be an interesting piece about what we're actually doing with cell phones. Some districts around us have banned them already to where they're not out there except for certain times, like at lunch or before or after school. Other districts have an approach kind of like ours. And I think this is the state side of it, trying to get to the spot to where, okay, we don't want these out during instructional time because they become distractive. They become an issue for behavior potentially. Oftentimes they're sources of cyberbullying. Oftentimes they're places to where kids kind of get in trouble. It's a big responsibility. It's like a supercomputer at your hands that you can use. And I think that's been a challenge. So now with the ban, it looks to be, as I've read through the legislation, a bell-to-bell ban, meaning once you start the day, you're not supposed to have it out. You're supposed to have it put away. That'll be interesting for us to look at our policy. We don't have to implement for 26, 27. It will be 27, 28 is the implementation of what it looks like. I'm really curious to know as we go through the details and we await some guidance from the State Board of Ed. Dr. Sanders, State Superintendent of School, has asked for, he's put out in a weekly note that they're going to provide some guidance for districts as we navigate through this. This will have to be updates to board policy that will have to work through the board level. And then really from an administrative procedure side, what is this really going to look like for us? Personally, I feel like our kids are addicted to screens. I know even as an adult, if I'm sitting, I was at a dance recital last night in Decatur. If there was downtime, the first thing people go to, they grab their phone. And I think we've missed some of that human interaction, that eye-to-eye, face-to-face contact. And I think people are recognized like, whoa, maybe this is what we do in society. The pendulum has gone so far this way, and now we're seeing it come back. I want to be cautious. I want to go slow, but I also see the merit in it and how we can navigate that with our teachers, our administrators, our parents, and our kids. Because there are concerns about having on your person for school safety purposes. What if something happens and I want to get a hold of my kid? I think that balancing act, I think it's going to come our way. And I think it's something that is a broader conversation with how are we using technology in schools in general.
Well, and there was a time where, you needed to get a hold of your kids. So you called the school office. If something happened, school office brings kid to office and you take kid out of school if you need to. So maybe, are you referring to emergency situations?
So yeah, if there's an active threat, if we have a threat piece and we've got to evacuate or we have to relocate and, we're in 2026, I don't know. Like as a parent, I've got a 21-year-old and a 19-year-old. When they were in school, in high school, they had a cell phone on them. It wasn't out on them all the time in class or walking around with it during a passing period, but they had them. I understand that from a parent concern. I understand safety pieces, but I also looking at kids and how brain development works and putting that screen in front of you. It's like this dopamine thing that I'm going to check all the time about what's going on. And then parents have gotten used to this 24/7 access to their kid. So the days of calling the office saying, hey, I'm sick, I need to go home. We still ask kids to check in. We still do those procedures and parents come pick up, but it's a big change in society over the last 5 to 10 years. And what does that look like? So I think this will be the start of it. And I think it will lead to a bigger conversation about how are we utilizing it? Is the technology really an instructional tool? Or are we using it just to babysit or provide access?
Yeah. I know that's going to be probably the bigger conversation of all of this is that reevaluation of technology and its role in the classroom. So that's been a big piece of conversation with your peers on the show lately, Mr. Ibbotson, is, that merit of the technology in the classroom. It'll be interesting where districts fall on those things. I've got about a minute left with you. Did I miss anything in that conversation you want to put out there?
No, I just think for parents, I would encourage you as a parent, as you hand a cell phone, a device that's connected to the internet. We did some internet safety stuff last spring or last fall with Ben Tracy talking about all the things that are out there online. Make sure that you have access to your kid's phone. Make sure you have an access to password. Make sure you know who their friends are, how social media works, and just be actively involved. It's like anything else, monitoring that and having that relationship to know. I would just encourage you on that. And then we'll kind of navigate this together as a school community and as the communities of Maroa Forsyth.
Very good. Well, Mr. Ibbotson, always good to talk with you. Thanks for making time for us and enjoy the summer. Appreciate it.
I sure will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good. Mr. Adam Ibbotson, Superintendent of Maroa Forsyth Schools, my guest in studio for today. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Network news coming your way now.
WHOW.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton, along with 92.3 FM Clinton and 106.5 FM Bloomington Normal.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. We're never going to let them have a nuclear weapon, the words of President Trump, talking about the memorandum of understanding that he and Iran's president have signed. Mr. Trump denounces as fools those who criticize the agreement. That would include Democrats as well as some Republicans. More from correspondent Andrew Stewart.
The initial agreement calls for Iran to dilute its stockpile of highly enriched uranium. The accord would also waive sanctions on that country, immediately permitting Iran to sell its oil freely. That's what U.S. officials say. Those officials read the language of the memorandum on ending the war to journalists on Wednesday.
And this is just the start. Now there will be talks aimed at reaching a permanent deal with Iran. In the meantime, President Trump says that if the Iranians do not honor terms of the agreement, bombs will fall once again. War Secretary Hegseth says it's about time for the European allies to take more responsibility for their own defense. This is Hegseth, who's currently in Brussels, advocates for a newer, fairer NATO alliance. He's calling it NATO 3.0.
NATO 3.0 is post-Cold War recognition that it needs to go back to a real
hardline military alliance that has real military capabilities capable of deterring right here on the continent and taking the lead for the conventional defense of Europe, which you have led on and other nations are stepping up to do.
For the first time since March, gas prices now average under $4 a gallon. AAA's national average for regular, $3.99 a gallon. That's down a couple of cents from yesterday. It's down about 50 cents from a month ago. On Wall Street, ahead of this morning's opening bell, the Dow futures 248 points higher. NASDAQ futures are up almost 500 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
About a month ago, I told you about the amazing new documentary, The Story of Everything. In over 600 theaters for several weeks, it had tremendous success. Now you can watch it from the comfort of your own home through exclusive streaming access. For decades, we've been told we're here by accident. Life is a total fluke. But what if the actual science tells a very different story? Yes, The Story of Everything is a film that Hollywood would never greenlight, that atheists and the mainstream media would rather you didn't see, because it explores the staggering math of intelligent design. For life to exist, the probability of creation being an accident totally disappears. The evidence points to a designer and challenges evolution with hard science and undeniable logic. And now it's available to you through streaming with discounted pricing options, so you can easily watch it at home or share it with friends. Giving scientific truth a platform, all you have to do is go to thestoryofeverything.film/Mike. Thestoryofeverything.film/Mike. Go to thestoryofeverything.film/Mike.
Two European neighbors who haven't always been friends are doing some fence mending.
The new defence agreement puts aside Germany and Poland's complicated past to strengthen European military cooperation at a time of heightened tension with Russia and growing uncertainty over US engagement in Europe. Germany is seeking partners as it moves to revitalise its military, the Bundeswehr, after decades of neglect, with ambitions to build the strongest conventional army on NATO's European side, an effort that could make it a central pillar of European defence in the years ahead, while Poland's importance as a logistic hub for Ukraine, alongside its growing economy and heavy defence investment, has made it a compelling partner for Germany and other core European countries. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Keir Starmer's future as Britain's Prime Minister is on the line. A special election today in northwest England. Voters choosing a new lawmaker. Andy Burnham of the Labour Party likely to challenge Starmer for party leadership if he wins. News and analysis, townhall.com. Senator Bernie Sanders is proposing a plan to give Americans ownership stakes in the country's largest artificial intelligence companies.
Sanders' legislation would impose a one-time 50% tax on the stock of major AI companies and place those shares into a sovereign wealth fund to be overseen by an independent commission. Sanders estimates the fund would be worth roughly $7 trillion and provide annual payments to Americans. While the idea of public ownership of AI companies has been backed by President Trump and AI executives, Sanders' proposal goes far beyond that, with the public having decision-making power over the companies. Bob Agnew reporting.
Barack Obama celebrates the opening of his presidential museum in Chicago today, an invitation-only dedication ceremony. The guest list for the ceremony includes Bruce Springsteen, Stevie Wonder, along with former Presidents George W. Bush and Bill Clinton. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times today, with daytime highs approaching 73. Northwesterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows level off around 56. Tonight, clear skies. High temperatures reach up to 77. Tomorrow, mainly clear. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Right now, it's 66 degrees.
Here's Clinton Save-A-Lot owner Dave Jackson on how he works to save you money every day.
I know the retails at the stores indicator probably better than most of the people in the stores know. I monitor this closely so customers do not have to. And then you don't have to spend $40 or $30 driving round trip at 60 cents a mile to Decatur or Lincoln or Bloomington. That's real numbers. It's 60, 70 cents a mile to drive your car.
And as Clinton Save-A-Lot owner Dave Jackson always says,
hope to see you soon.
Hey, it's Shane from Highway 51 Exchange, your mower and equipment service pros just south of Clinton. Click our banner ad on DeWittDailyNews.com or give us a call to schedule your free pickup and delivery today. Highway 51 Exchange.
Spring brings brighter days and more time to enjoy them. Your home should too. At Hickory Point Garden Homes in Forsyth, enjoy one-story living and walking paths right outside your door. Spend less time on upkeep and more time enjoying spring. To learn more, click R.I. Ham at DeWittDailyNews.com.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4 lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
This is Seth Lawrence, station manager for the Heart Media Group here in Clinton. We take pride in being Clinton and Central Illinois' local radio stations each and every day, 7 days a week. What does local news mean? Here's a sample.
Yeah, we did receive a grant. It's a sizable grant. It was $50,000.
Trying to get some additional personnel for the fire department.
You can sign up anytime that summer reading is going on, which is May 30th through July 31st.
What I'm really concerned about is losing local control over what happens with data centers.
But then what we're finding for e-bikes, there's different classes of e-bikes.
You hear the local people that make the news every day, 7 days a week. Follow WHOW on Facebook and Instagram to see the faces behind the voices and stay connected to your local community on WHOW and WEZC.
Hear Clinton Maroon live play-by-play this season on WHOW, the Big 1520 Daytime, 92.3 FM in DeWitt County and 106.5 in Bloomington Normal all the time. Plus streamed at DeWittDailyNews.com, on the WHOW mobile app, and Amazon Alexa. Plus, hear a best of Clinton sports broadcast Saturday mornings at 10. All brought to you by Warner Hospital and Health Services, Baum Chevrolet Buick, and Keith Wade, your country financial agent, all in Clinton.
WHOW is Central Illinois' ag station, and that includes providing farmers information on how the commodity markets close each day and week. I'm Todd Gleason from Illinois Public Media, University of Illinois Extension, inviting you to hear the daily closing market report weekday afternoons at 5:06, and on Saturdays, tune in for Commodity Week with a review of the week's markets at 8:30 in the morning, all on WHOW AM, FM, and streamed online.
Here's Heart Media Group owner Matt Hart talking about the Heart Media Group's continued commitment to local news, sports, and agriculture.
And at the end of the day, we're going to cover your local news. We're going to be dedicated to agriculture. Ag is such a huge part of our industry. We're obviously, if you're tuning in the radio, you know that. You're going to see that in our news, but then you're also going to see that local sports coverage as well as the local news coverage as well.
Find WHOW 1520 on Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok. You're listening to a best of segment of the WHOW Morning Show, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, this is a best of the WHOW Morning Show. Dennis, the summer is here, and I tell you what, if I remember right, May days we had pretty good weather.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. We'll take it.
Yep. So off to the summertime, and I know that this time of the year is kind of a somewhat of a sigh of relief for you because the spring is just so busy with the annual dinner to kick off the year. Then you get right into Business Expo, and a few months later, it's May days. Have you taken a breath yet at this point?
We have, and Erin really has. She's well, I don't know. She's working on some other stuff too, but
yeah,
it is a kind of a refreshing. Just okay. Right now, there's a little bit going on, but we can take a breath. We can get the office clean, and we can find out what we're doing. But we're already knee deep in haunted house, believe it or not.
Sure.
So we've got the sprinklers are on, the power's on, the water's on.